What's up guys, welcome back for another Yugioh Pro Duel video. Extra deck Monarchs, it took me a while, but here it is, triple Pantheism, triple Aether, triple Stormfort, all the good stuff is finally back in the TCG, so let's try it out. Keep in mind, okay, yeah, Monarchs are pretty much back at full power, almost. Well, we don't have Brilliant Fusion, and that's, you know, I'm looking at the extra deck variant, right, for Monarchs. But, and that's a big difference compared to a couple of years ago in a format between, like, Monarch mirror matches and Cosmo. And that's something important I'll get to within the next couple of moments. The decklist is pretty straightforward, definitely can use some tips, right? As you saw, a couple of things here. I'm running Fiber. I don't need to explain why, you'll see why, is that, you know, basically any tuner and non-monster equals Fiber, and that equals Isolde, and Isolde, of course, equals the combination of Edea and Eidos, and, you know, that gives you the Tribute Summon at the same time, and that's powerful. So the basic standard combo of Marcher into Striker, into, you know, like your second warrior, and that's why I'm playing the level 4 Synchro Monster Underworld Fighter Balmung, I believe the name is, because that's basically your second warrior that can be special summoned off of, you know, your level 4 synchro play, and that opens up the Isolde. And let's say if you did up using your normal summon for like your tuner, like worst case scenario, like an Ash Blossom or whatever, or maybe the special summon of your Quick Draw Synchron, you still have your normal summon, or maybe a double normal summon, aka double tribute summon for the turn, if you did not use your normal summon for a tuner. So let's say, and as you saw, you were able to go for Isolde or Fiber into Isolde thanks to double special summon, you know, getting like Quick Draw Synchron, for example. You have double Tribute Summon during your opening turn, and that's powerful. I mean, like double Erebus or Erebus Aether or Erebus Majesty's Fiend if you had the return already open. That's powerful. Or Vanity's Fiend, not to forget, right? Not a lot of decks can recover from that. Well, post-Cytic, that is, you know, like evenly matched. Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler no more, those cards are definitely still there. But that's the reason why I'm, you know, that's one of the advantages I guess the extra deck variant currently has over the domain version, is that having access to quote-unquote bigger power plays, while at the same time in a domain variant you're, you know, heavily focused on tribute summoning, while this deck, extra deck variant, does have access to, you know, the extra deck obviously, but, you know, those Exceed monsters, Synchro monsters if you want. In most situations, let's say if you have like the Prime Monarch, your trap card, face up on the field as a monster, and let's say you have your Quick Draw Synchron in like the Brilliant Fusion variant, most of the time you'll be you would be going for your Ultimate Solkin, but I feel that in most situations you'll be going for Fiber instead, because again, Fiber equals Isolde equals the combination Idea and Eidos, and that's potentially a double tribute summon for this turn, if not the next turn, right? Because again, they'll, you know, you'll be using their graveyard effects. Sometimes, let's say if you happen to draw your TG Striker or your double equip, because I'm only running 2 equips, which aren't bricks by the way, you can't go for your Isolde combo of special summoning Idea from the deck, then you'll go for Ultimate Solkin. So it's basically a recovery play if you did quote-unquote brick, since the small brick cards I guess you're running because of the extra deck package is a TG Striker, which again, if you're going second, has the ability to special summon itself, so, you know, like worst case scenario, it's indeed a free tuner for Helki Fibrex, or Tribute Father, you know, because again, it special summons itself. The 2 equips that I'm running, first of all, is Durandal, the Noble Knight equip that searches Red Layer, that's powerful, and Autonomous Action Units, again, has the ability to reborn a card, a monster from your opponent, and that could be like an Ash Blossom or a tuner, which again leads to an Helki Fibrex play. As you saw, I'm running only 1 Ash Blossom, and that's still the thing I'm struggling with, is that, okay, with Monarchs, both domain and extra deck, I feel you definitely want to go first, so I'm contemplating on adding in Testalos as well, Mega Testalos that is, because of that, the double tribute summon during your opening turn, but yeah, anyway, is that This deck, because it's still so vulnerable, even with triple Pantheism, you're still so vulnerable to hand traps, like a lot of decks, but this deck has, it's very hard for this deck to recover from, let's say, one Ash Blossom, and that's the difference between, like, Infernal Noble Knights, or Emancipator, or Eldritch, which can vomit their entire multiple card combos and interactions on the field, and, you know, you're just laughing at your opponent if they have, like, one Ash Blossom, or maybe, like, an Impermanence. Well, this deck doesn't have that. If your opponent has, like, let's say, a Veiler or an Ash Blossom on Fiber, or maybe on your normal summon of Idea, most of the time your turn stops, and that's the problem, right? Well, okay, you have the ability to tribute summon and play during your opponent's turn, but the play that was so strong back in 2016, you know, Stormfort Aether, feels very minimal now in today's format. Let's say, okay, like you see it in the replays. Let's say against Emancipator or Noble Knights, Infernal Noble Knights. Okay, you can interrupt their play with a Stormfort Aether play. But, you know, they can just vomit more extenders on the board and go for their one-card combo cards like Isolde or Helgi Fibrex. And again, those cards basically equal full combo. And, okay, do you really want more hand traps in your Monarch deck? Yeah, maybe. But then you're increasing your bricks. And again, the deck is already super vulnerable to those hand traps from the opponent. So, I mean, opening your 5 cards, like multiple tributes and then like a hand trap or two, you're lost. I mean, you can't win that, and that's the reason why I'm only playing our main decking one Ash Blossom, because also it's basically the second tuner to be special summoned from the main deck because of Helgi Fibrex. So there's that. That's the reason, and I'm not really sure if I, let's say, if I find the space. Would I really main deck hand traps? Yeah, that might be the case going second. If I know that I'm going second, I would just, well, like, look at like Nibiru, because it gives you the token and it could switch the turns upside down, and then, you know, the standard mass destruction cards like either Evenly Matched or Lightning Storm, and obviously Dark Ruler no more. Then again, Dark Ruler. Again, this deck needs that 2-card combination of Stormfort Aether or Idea Aether or Erebus to, you know, get yourself back in the duel, but something like Dark Ruler no more could help you that, especially if you're playing against decks that, let's say, they're going first, like Emancipator or Infernal Noble Knights, and pump out multiple negations and interruptions during their first turn. Because if you can't get around it, you're a goner, and because you don't really have too much room to play interruptions or hand traps in this deck, that's still the biggest weakness of this. And same counts for, you know, the domain variant. You definitely want to go first. So anyway, I definitely like, you know, the Helgi Fibrex engine. That's cute, you know, giving you access to this, like, Idea Idols, potentially the double tribute summon during your own turn, or during your opening turn, that is. But it feels that, let's say, if there is like a YCS level, or a tournament, or regionals, which version of Monarchs would I pick? I would probably lean towards the domain version a bit more, because it's super straightforward. And, you know, you're playing are probably maximizing on the amount of floodgates, and with that I mean Vanity's Fiend and or Majesty's Fiend, and Domain, right? You're definitely playing triple Domain, and your opponent has to overcome that. You definitely want to go first and say to your opponent, well, here is Domain, Erebus or Domain, Vanity or Majesty. Well, good luck, play around that, and if you're able to do that with, let's say, the follow-up of Impermanence and Twin Twister or whatever, right? Okay, good game, we're going to the next duel. That's how bland it is. But, you know, that's the strategy behind the deck, right? Don't let your opponent play Yugioh. And yeah, extra deck variant. Okay, you're sacrificing your domain lock for more plays, more maybe a higher ceiling. But at the same time, okay, you're giving your opponent access to their extra deck, and I'm not really sure well, back in 2016 you had stuff like Brilliant Fusion, and that was a super powerful card. Immediately gives you the extra summon for the turn, sends like a light from your deck to the graveyard, like Idea to get back, so like one of your banished Monarch spell and traps. And obviously gives you a free level 5 monster on the field for, you know, a Tolkien play or a rank 5 Exceed play. And that's something like Extra Deck Monarchs definitely misses that. And something that I mentioned before is that the once so powerful play of Stormfort Aether feels like, you know, back in the 2016 era, it was indeed very powerful, but now feels like, okay, you could go for like one interruption, and if you're going for Kuraz off of your Aether during your opponent's turn, okay, you're giving your opponent maybe 1 or 2 draws, but in today's format 2020, every deck is main decking multiple extenders, and it feels like it's not enough. That's what I was looking for, right? So, I mean, not really sure. If you played Monarchs or Extra Deck Monarchs, are you having like the same results or the same opinion about this? But, okay, yeah, anyway, so going second against, you know, one of, I think, the most popular decks, I feel, and Vogue Hybrids featuring the Dragoon as well. The Dragoon is something else. Going second against Dragoon is a problem. Okay, Stormfort is there. It feels very similar to the Cosmo matchup back in 2016, where Cosmo was able to go for Cyber Dragon Infinity first turn. You had Stormfort there to force out the Infinity, because, again, Infinity negates the activation, just like Dragoon. You can go for a second Stormfort or still use your extra deck. Okay, that's that, but it's a difference because, again, in today's format, Dragoon isn't really the only negation your opponent will be having. There will be a Mechaba next to it, there will be an Impermanent set, there will be Veilers, Ash Blossoms in the hand, so there are just so many interruptions where this deck, it definitely struggles to play around that. A lot of decks do, but again, this deck feels just more vulnerable to that compared to, like, you know, like Infernal Knights or Adamant Sepater. So Kuraz hits the board, and I'm well aware of Dragoon's burn effect, and I'm very low on life points. Oh, low. 5,400, I mean, Dragoon with the burn damage. I definitely need to get rid of my monsters this way, otherwise, you know, I'll just get burned to death. The Prime Monarch hits the board, holds off my opponent, and okay, I do have a couple of chances here, but I need some very specific cards. Active Scout Talker is still in the extra deck, which could be like an out for, you know, Dragoon, for example. I'm not really sure. The one of Domain is there. Ah, yeah. An out here could have been Return to, you know, chain block my Erebus, but I got the Domain off of the Pantheism reveal, so that wasn't an option. And yeah, double monster negation in the long run. Far too strong. Again, I definitely needed to return here, because I think there was already one return banished, you know, for the chain block, but yeah, anyway, long story short, Extra Deck Monarchs is a very powerful deck, but as we've seen in the OCG, Monarchs there are pretty much there at full force, and they aren't really doing anything. That's because of that. The format is just far too fast, far too powerful. And yeah, Stormfort Aether doesn't cut it anymore, and I feel that competitively speaking, the Domain variant might be, even though it's very simple to play, it might just be enough to get you there in like regionals, right? Domain lock, Vanity's Fiend, and just say against your opponent, well, good luck, go for it, right? Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.